You're with NewsMakers. It's a political debate this week. We are with Labour's Ruth Dyson and National's Kate Wilkinson, and they're promising a lot more sparks in the second segment. Now, the latest unemployment figures indicate the number of people claiming the dole has nearly tripled year on year. Do you concede that the dole numbers are a lot worse than expected?
Oh, I think we are in a tough economic times. You have to expect, unfortunately, that the dole numbers will rise. We have to look at, these aren't just numbers, though. These are people. These are people that are being, sort of losing their jobs, losing some confidence. When you look at it, though, comparatively, our unemployment rate's about 5%. It's less than Australia, which is 5.8% was the latest number, certainly less than UK and US. We're trying to, obviously, take the rough edges off the recession.
Are you? Or are you sitting on your hands?
No. And I think, let's have some confidence here. We are a country that produces some of the best food in the country. That's what we're good at. People are going to need to eat. We have some wonderful attributes there. We just need to make sure that we're a bit more productive. At the moment, our productivity rate is something like 1%. It needs to be up to be 3% to be remotely competitive with Australia. So we need to be doing a lot of things. We need to be sort of working our way through the regulations, those compliance costs that are bane of businesses, and picking our way through those, getting rid of the obsolete ones, making it easier for businesses to do business so that they can actually be productive and have the confidence to keep taking on employees.
Comment?
This is an absolutely do-nothing government, and I think it's a disgrace that with 1,000 new people going onto the unemployment benefit every week, and the impact that has not just on that person but on their family and their community, that we've got a government had a big job summit and then nothing. Promise of a cycle way. This is just a disgrace. We need a government that's going to get in behind its people, help them to keep the jobs that they've got at the moment, help them get new jobs as they come in.
How would Labour do that?
Well, we know we've got a very good record on supporting people in both good times and bad times.
It's a bad time at the moment.
We know we're in an international recession. We could better support people who have been made redundant by giving them some income support. We should be investing in skills and training, which we are not doing. Just had an 80% cut in the Adult and Community Education Fund, 80% cut at the very time that people are desperate to have skills for the future.
And do you know why
so
that is?
In all the areas where we need investment, it's going.
Can I respond?
You can.
Yeah, we're putting $124 million into adult continuing education. Well, if you look at the education, most of the people attending those courses were over 46. We have reprioritised some of that spending for basic numeracy and literacy skills for younger people so that they can actually have the skills to get jobs, rather than have it at the elderly or more older segment of the population.
So, sorry, you're over 46 and you're not elderly and you shouldn't go into a training course.
No, we're not saying that.
That's what you just said.
I'm not. I'm saying we're refocusing it. If we're trying to do more with less, which businesses are trying to do, New Zealanders are trying to do, we are doing the same. We're trying to do more with less. Yes, we've had to make some hard decisions. That was one of them. But we've refocused it on younger people so that they can get those foundation skills to actually help them get into the workforce.
There was actually an 80% cut in the total budget, and in the very same budget, $35 million additional money going to private schools. That is not the priority that most New Zealanders would think the government should have during a recession.
This is just politicking. And we should be working together, actually. Rather than scaring New Zealanders, we should be working. We had a job summit.
What will you say to a 47-year-old who has just lost their job in Christchurch? What is National offering them?
Well, for a start, we have got a restart program for redundancy. We are doing increased emphasis on skills and training for those basic literacy and numeracy. For a start, we've introduced the 90-day trial, and I know Ruth won't like that, but that will give those people also the chance to say, look, I know I've been made redundant, perhaps I've only had one job, perhaps I have been out of the workforce for a while, but give me a chance. Give me a chance and I'll prove myself. That's proving to be very, very successful. It gives the businesses confidence to take on new workers. It gives workers the opportunity to actually get a job. So that's one positive thing one concrete, tangible, positive thing. I could go on forever, but Mike, I can see that you're not looking at me.
Would never do that,
you're looking at me and you say, "Don't go on forever."
I am.
Yes.
So
very intuitive. Well done.
The Research and Development Fund, the Fast Forward Fund, scrapped.
Yeah, but we've got a primary growth fund.
Where businesses would be able to invest in the future for New Zealanders and their jobs, all canned in the budget.
The chief executives who were interviewed by the New Zealand Herald in the last week or so have had a real tilt at Labour, saying you guys in opposition are simply not performing. It's all very well to drive out people like Richard Worth from Parliament, but where are your constructive solutions to the economic situation? Where are your big dreams? What are you offering? Why is your cupboard bare?
I heard those comments. They're not surprising, given who they were from. There's 2 points I want to make. First of all, we are working really hard to develop policies, and we have committed ourselves to working constructively with the government if they want us to. Kate just earlier said, we want to be in this together, you shouldn't be politicking. We were excluded from the Job Summit. The Job Summit was held with everyone being able to attend. If you've got a good idea, come along. Sorry, unless you're a Labour politician or identified as a Labour person. Okay. We said we could have constructively engaged with that. So that's the first thing.
Second point?
The second one is that we shouldn't be expected to have all the answers if we're not in government. The government is there to govern. We'll work with them. We'll contribute ideas, but it's actually their responsibility to govern our country, and they're doing nothing for jobs.
And when Labour was in government, they expected us to have all the answers. I love the different messages depending on which side of the house you're sitting.
Last question on this. John Key promised that the Job Summit would be a do-fest, not a talk-fest. Has he demonstrably failed to deliver?
Of course not. Of course not. You look at some of the positive results that have come out. OK, we've got the 9-day fortnight. What that has done is, apart from saving some jobs, what it has done is opened up the dialogue between unions, businesses, employees, so that they can talk about things, so that they can actually get some different remedies, some different solutions to whatever their specific issues are. So it's actually opened up that dialogue, that communication, and I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. I think it's positive, and I think that employees and employers are getting more and more creative about how they can get through this recession together. And I think that's great.
I've got to get a break in coming up. Dame Sian Elias. It's been a lively week on the judiciary front, hasn't it? And also flying a Māori flag. Which one should we choose, people? That's coming up shortly.